What's going on, you guys? This is Mailman Robbie. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little background of who I am, where I came from, and why I decided to get into the post office. So, I used to live in California, and I moved across the whole United States into another state. I don't really want to say exactly where I'm at because you never know who's watching this. Back in California, I used to own a martial arts school. And then when COVID hit, I had to pretty much shut shop because, it was killing me on rent and having to do the masks. And it was a sad thing for me, but I had to stop that. My wife's family is where we're at right now. They're from here. So she wanted to be a little closer to her family. So we all picked up and moved down here. Well, on top of being, owning a martial arts school, I was also an RV technician. And I was making pretty good money as an RV technician. It was a lot of work because I was the only technician in the shop. But overall, I enjoyed working with my hands. My sister, now, she is a postmaster. And she was always drilling me, telling me that I need to get into the post office for years. And before even, CCA and all this stuff was even involved in the post office, I never listened to her. Don't know why. But finally, when I moved down here, I said I'm going to finally get into the post office and give it a try. So I did the sign-ups. It took forever. Got the fingerprint in the background and all that stuff back. And took the assessment test, and finally, was given a date for orientation. And I did my orientation, and it was long, and then, but it was simple. You just have common sense, you'll get through it. And then the LLV training and the metrics training, the driver training, if you have common sense, you're really going to be fine with all that part. Now, getting into the mail, doing my OJI training, it was snowing out. It was, the weather was horrible. My guy that was training me, he was pretty cool though, gave me the lowdown of, what to do and what not to do. But when I finally got into my office, which is a small office, I had to learn the routes. The people that taught me the routes, really good carriers. They know their route. They gave me a bunch of tips that really helped. And there was one route, City 1, I had trouble with doing the mountain. It was a little hard for me. The business section wasn't too bad, and then the city section wasn't too bad, but when I got to the mountain, it was a little rough. The walking route seemed to be a little bit more easier for me because you're constantly walking around. And I think, seeing the trees, the houses, and, all that just became easily familiar for me. But the relays, that was a hard part, casing and breaking down the relays and rubber banding them or strapping them and remembering the relay boxes. So what I did is I took my phone and in my notes, I make sure I, marked down which relay, where it went, what number it was, and that helped me, in the beginning. And then City 3 was a little bit more better for me because, I rode with him a couple days, and then he let me drive and actually do the mail, which was nice because my OJI, he didn't let me drive at all. City 1 didn't let me drive at all either, just pretty much observe. He let me carry some mail, but not too much. People had their own ways, so can't blame them for that. The walking route, she let me, carry mail as much as, she could let me. But City 3, he definitely, threw me out there and said, you can do this. And it helped a lot. So finally, when I was on my own, I remember, being very slow at casing, especially because I did a lot of the city too. So I had to do all the relays. I remember having a paper of figuring out which relay was what, and it was very stressful. I'd say the first 4 months, I was very, very, very overwhelmed. I thought, damn, this is just insane, because you had to be back at a certain time, you had to get out of the office at a certain time. They weren't really too pressuring me because I was new, but they said, eventually, you got to get out, regardless, you got to get out. So I'd say that first 4 months, I was really losing my shit over it. But after a while, last 6 months, being into the year of being a CCA, I've been able to adapt. I've been able to structure the way I'm going to do a route. So I was also sent out to a lot of different other towns and big offices where they needed help, and I had to figure it out. There was no not knowing how to do it. You just, you get the mail, you get the DPS, you get your flats, you case it, you break it down, and then you get it into the trays, the way you load your truck, the way you load your packages. I mean, the way I would load my packages is I would do the load truck feature, and I would scan it, I'd look at the address, I'd look at the name of the street, and I'd do like 1020 Bay, if it was for that street. And I would do it in big letters. That way, so when I'm in the truck, I'm not trying to focus on the little label. I can see a big label. And also I would use, how it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the sections. I would do 1, 1020 Bay, and then I'd set that in the section, the 1 section, and then the 2 section, and then just carry on. And that seemed to help. And then with the spurs, I also did the load truck feature, and I'd scan it. If it said 1, I'd have 1 tray for 1s. If it was a 2, I'd have 2, and so on and so on. And that seemed to help me, really well. But the one thing you got to make sure is that, because sometimes 2 and 3, the 3 can be in the 2, or the 2 can be in the 3. It's just, you just really have to watch and try to remember the addresses. Like now, when I see it, I write it, I remember it. So there's no forgetting. I don't know how my brain works with that, but that's just, I think you'll catch on to that too when you do it as well. But it's a very stressful job. It is stressful at times, but it's also very rewarding. I mean, I see kids outside that always are excited to see me. They'll wave. There's some dogs that just wait for me to come up because they know I'll give them a cookie or something. People are very thankful. Unless you have certified for them, then you're pretty much dirt to them, because unless it's something good, they don't want to see you for that certify. And in all reality, all you got to do is refuse it. That's still going to be marked as delivered in a sense, but at least you didn't have to sign for it. I hate doing certifies, but it's part of the job. It's what you got to do. But overall, I do enjoy delivering the mail, and I really enjoy packages. A lot of people don't like Amazon Sunday. I don't know why, but I like it. Unless I have something planned with my family, overall, I enjoy delivering the packages. Not so much lately, because I have to do my town now and another town. So that makes it a little stressful. But once you get into the post office, you have so many options. You don't have to just be a city carrier. You can get into the clerk, you can get into the, the factories. There's so many different angles. You can be a custodian, you can be a technician working on the trucks or the vehicles. So many different options. That's the one thing about the post office. You have a lot of options. You don't have to just stick with the one thing. But, if you're looking to get into the post office, I'm telling you, you got to have a lot of heart, because, we, as carriers, when you see us, we make it look easy, but it's not easy. It's very hard at first. But once you get down, you get a rhythm, and you just keep moving. And, it's a good job to have. You get benefits. It's the first time I've ever had, sick leave working at a job, or having vacation time working at a job. So, at the end of the year, when I have my kid, I can take a week off and I can get paid for it. So that's something that I'm very grateful for. I'm grateful for working at the post office. You're going to see a lot of videos on here that people are complaining about the post office. Yeah, there's, issues with the management and the higher ups and all that, but hopefully in the long run, this stays, people keep mailing out, people keep buying packages, you know, the post office is going to be around, I feel, for a lot longer. So, you know, if you want to get a job that's, you know, stable, I would definitely look into the post office. It takes time, so I would start now. All right, you guys. Thanks for watching. You made it through this whole video, so that means you know, you're kind of interested in working at the post office. If you like this video, like it, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get for another one. Peace.